Hello, hello. All right. So I'm going to get into it in just a couple minutes, and I'm going to be using the color palettes that I made yesterday. Just because yesterday was like a little bit of an intensive day, and I thought I would just take it easy and make some abstract backgrounds. So, anyway, if you're tuning in, feel free to say hey. Let me know you're there. And then I'm just going to keep it super easy peasy today and use those color palettes from yesterday and just go abstract. So it's going to be super relaxing and, of course, stuff that anybody can do. You don't have to have any special drawing ability. Hey, gotta leave. Super happy to see you. Glad to catch you for a little evening stream. Although this time you're 1 hour earlier than me. Usually you're later, but now I have got the head up. All right, let me minimize my chat. So yeah, yesterday I was taking the inspiration from these haute couture accessories, purse, shoes, and then I kind of went about showing you guys some tips and tricks that I use for making my custom color palettes that are like inspired by something. Um, hey Rhoda, super happy to see you. Yay. Oh my gosh, snow. I would like some snow. I think it would be fun. Being here in Bulgaria, it's wild because I thought it would be, I was prepared for it to be a lot colder, but it's like 13 degrees every day since I've arrived. So that's pretty wild. Oh, hey, David. Nice to see you. I guess it's quite earlier there in your day, but happy to catch you on a live again. Yeah, so I'm excited. But yeah, it's been 13 degrees Celsius, which I don't exactly know every time I'm in Europe, I'm always on Celsius, but I never do the conversion, so I know what it is. But like okay, 13 is pretty warm winter day, um, but I never actually do the conversions to Fahrenheit. So I only know warm temperatures usually, well, in Fahrenheit, and then Celsius I have the cold temperature. So anyway, 55. Okay, yeah, so it's pretty warm winter day. Like it's been crazy and sunny, so that's been such a blessing. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so we're using the color palettes from yesterday and we're just going to make some easy backgrounds, keep it super fun, super light. I don't want to stretch my brain anymore. And then yesterday we had made this, which was like kind of a floral motif, which was directly inspired by the design. And then today I just thought I would show, I made a couple digital backgrounds and a lot of them using my color blending brushes, but a lot of them using just like one brush, but just to give you guys some ideas of like what you can do and just have some fun with it. And it doesn't have to be, when it's abstract, it doesn't have like to be so serious. It doesn't have to have it can be decorative, what have you. Doesn't have to be that complex. So 13 about the 50s. Yeah, okay, everybody's on it. We're on the conversions. Loving it. So for this one, like what I started with, I'm just going to kind of go through really quick some of like just some ideas that I had. And then this might get your brain kind of giving some ideas for your own stuff, so you can kind of take get a nugget here and then roll with it. And also sometimes when I'm doing digital backgrounds, of course I'll just grab a brush and start painting and see what comes. But sometimes if I need a little idea, I'll just type in Pinterest something like abstract art. And a lot of times I'll just get like a jumping off point for my own ideas. So, like you don't always have to come up with something so revolutionary, but you can, see something like this and, kind of play with that. So, okay, maybe I can put some big bulbous shapes, and then maybe put some brush strokes like enclosed in that area. Just it gives you something to like jump off of. So when I don't have an idea, I'll just often pop over to Pinterest and see, what happens. So for this one, what I did was I just started with a gradient, which I'm not usually using a lot. Actually, what did I do here? So I just put this background and then I started with this kind of a rusty orange color. So here's my colors right here. I'll just put this over here kind of so we can see the colors that are on this color palette or this vibe. Let me just do window, arrange, two up vertical. Okay, what are we doing here? Let's move. But I like to just see, I mean, this is why I like to make these color palettes, because then I'll make them and then, you can just, it's like one less decision sometimes that you have to do. So then, you can just take it in so many different ways. Demo. Okay, just so we can see the color vibes here. So this was like some colors that I would never normally work with. But yeah, so what I did was, of course, I always kind of do use the same document size, 1500 by 1500. So I did a color fill, and then I did another color fill of the blue because I thought it would be fun to bring in some blue on the sides. And, or actually, first I made these shapes here, and then, so I'm just kind of like rolling back my decisions. But I first was like, okay, I'm just gonna make some brush strokes on here. And so what I decided to do was look and see something that would be cool in the Glitch Core collection. So I went into my Glitch Core collection, and what did I get? I believe it was brush 71. So some of these, let's find 71 here. Yeah. So let me make a new layer. And I liked this. Here's this brush in action, which is really fun. You can have some, I think it will be really, this collection could be really cool with like trends for this year. I was looking at like Pinterest trends and things that are, like kind of predicted and stuff. And I think, a bit of maximalism is still kind of popular. Um, and some of these, I think it would be good for trends basically. So this is the fun brush stroke to play with. And these color blends are kind of monochromatic. I mean, they don't like vary that much, but I think it's fun. So, but what I like about it is I can take this brush and just wiggle it a little bit, just make a little circle and make like some cool circular shapes. And you can just touch it lightly and make it less dense. Or if you keep touching it, it'll quite fill it in and be quite opaque. So to start off with, I just made those little orange dots on the orange background. So I took my color blend from this collection, this one here, and just drew those in and, had a little fun with that in the corners. Because, when I'm doing something like this, I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be a background for, some kind of social media graphic or whatever, and you're going to have something in the center. So, kind of want to leave some space, although, you can always plop, a negative, you can always put a square over it or, anything like that with when you're done. And then I was like, okay, let's layer some stuff. And yeah, so I didn't put the gradients in till later. So then I layered it with these using the exact same brush, but I just changed my color palette. So as you can see here, we just did a little overlap and it's looking cool. And then the same thing with my blue. So I added those here. And that's when I was like, okay, uh, let's add some blue in the mix. So that's when I decided to play with some gradients because we had the orange kind of fading into the background here. So I thought it'd be fun to have this blue fading into the background. So I just made a color fill layer. And just to do that, you would just go to like layer, new fill layer, solid color. And then I would click the color from my swatches, which all the color palettes are attached to yesterday's stream. And so whenever I added that fill layer, it's by default, it's completely showing. So I'll just go here, make sure the white is in the front and the black is in the background. And this is my like little hack. I'll just select all and cut. So now the color fill, now what do you call it? The layer mask makes it hidden. And so then I'll just take my gradient tool and I'll get my gradient, my basics gradients, which is like foreground to transparent. And then I'll select black or no, sorry, select white. And then I just kind of came in here and pulled some gradient of that. Of course, you could just grab a gradient tool and do that. I don't know why I did the color fill, but I was thinking maybe the good thing of, maybe it's non-destructive. Although, gosh, I don't use gradients. Oh yeah. So that's, I'm like, this shows how often I use some gradients. Well, I use them in masking a little bit, but um, the upside of the color fill is that you can change the color if you want. So if you want to just change, directions, then you don't have to redraw it. So that's a little bit of a tip for that. So I did that. And then the last thing I did was just use that same brush and same brush 71 from that collection. And I grabbed one of my color blends that's a little bit more mixed, which by the way, I just added these and I've got to update that color. Excuse me, I got to update that from yesterday just to add, I added 2 more blends in for the color palette collection. And you can see some of them have different transparencies, but that's the fun part of it. So this is just a super fun, easy background. And as you can see, we just did one single brush stroke. So really easy. So I was just today, after yesterday or the last 2 days, I was doing flowers, which were really fun, but sometimes I'm like, oh, I have to actually try to make it look like something. So it was like more pressure because I'm used to things that are like not necessarily so hard. So that was the first one that I did. And then I had some fun, and I think this turned out quite cool, using the same colors for a cloudy background. I thought this is very mystical, very uh, fun. So I'm going to show you how I built that together, built that up. So let me just group my, I'm going to group my clouds here all together. Let's save this, and then let me save this as a copy. Save as, hold on, to live. Now I'm like, okay, trying to mentally like see what I did here. Okay, so at first I started with a gradient background, and I started with a gradient background um, of, I had it the other way around. So I thought the blue would be cool at the bottom or something for some reason. But then I thought I would flip it, and this could kind of be like a night sky. I don't know. Like, so the blue at the top I think would be quite cool, and having this gradient on the way down. And because I had a trim, I have like the document size is 18 by 1800 by 1800, and my main area is 1500 by 1500. I have a little square here, exactly 1500 by 1500, because I did notice if I do the gradient fill for the whole background, then it'll fill to the whole length of it. And I want to make sure I get that whole gradient right inside that window, that's going to be trimming, which I always do my I always like to have that trim area in case I draw something off the edge, because then I can move it and I don't have to worry about it being cut. So it gives me a little bit of grace. And also because I do use wet brushes quite a bit, and sometimes if you pull from the side of the document using wet brushes and you don't have that area, it'll pull in do some weird color things around the edges. So I just made a gradient on a gradient fill on my square here, and I just dropped in a few of these colors from my solid color palettes and played around with them until I was happy with how they looked. And, you can just play, you can move the positions. But I clicked OK, and so now I've got my gradient to where I'm happy with it. And I was like, oh, I think it would be cool to do some kind of, play with these cloud brushes, which I should maybe make into like a bigger collection. So these were, and these are not on my site, they are something I made for, sorry if I'm flying through these quite quick here. There's something that I made for just a tutorial. So they were just a little tutorial brush set, but I find myself loving the clouds and stars. So this is Cloud Brush 3, and just to make it easier, I'll attach this to the downloads for my members, so you don't have to hunt that up. But all I did, this is also two brushes instead of one. Two brushes. We use Cloud Brush 3 and the Sparkles brush, which I like to use a lot for accents. And let me see what I did here. So I was just playing around with layering and, you know, having some peek back and everything. So let's see what, let's show this in action. And I do not know if it's going to be as good as um, when I did it at the beginning, but here we are. And I think I kind of, the general idea was to have the blue clouds and keep moving the clouds to kind of match the gradient. And because these colors do match, you know, these quite well. So that was the idea. But then also just to have some kind of, some coming in front of each other, some, you know, hiding, da da da. Hey Junaid, nice to see you. Yay. I like makes me feel good when I get the comments. It's nice. So let's take the cloud brush number 3, and I've got that lightest color blend in this palette collection. And yeah, so I just played with some, I feel like I should, let's see here. Sometimes it fills in so much, so I didn't want to fill in that much. Let me just look. Okay, I'm doing one sort of view here so I can try to kind of recreate it. But you know what? It's like, whatever. So I'm using a light pressure on my pen, on my Wacom pen. So kind of playing with that. Okay, there's some white clouds. Now I'll make a new layer underneath it, and then maybe I'm going to grab that nice um, orange ochre sort of thing. That's nice. And that's actually looking okay. So let's just have some floaty clouds here. So if I don't like how it goes, you know, just draw it again. But trying to just, yeah, have some fun with that. And then, so I'm going to make 3 stages, and then I'll kind of come in with some accent clouds. So now maybe I'll make a layer behind that, and then let's do some blue clouds, kind of playing with that. And then let me just group all my new stuff into a new layer. And yeah, all right. So, you know, whatever. I'm like, sometimes I'm trying to duplicate what I did before, and I'm like, okay, Jessica, you can do it different. It's okay. But I'll put some of that blue down here. I think that looks kind of cool. Maybe I'll just grab like a different blend, kind of have some of that peeking behind. And then maybe even between the blue and the orange, let's make a new layer and get a lighter blend. Maybe like have some sort of clouds poking in there. So, you know, just playing around until I find something that I'm happy with. And even I could put another one in front of the orange and maybe just have a touch of blue kind of coming in. So you kind of want to have that feeling of like layering. So yeah, it's pretty good. I might make a new layer and then go back to that light color and maybe just hide some of this down here because maybe I don't love that. Like that, finally how that orange came. But anyway, so there we go. Whatever. You can just play around with it. That's kind of interesting. But I feel like it should be more at the back or maybe just above there. Oops, I have my auto select group, so let's put it on layer. I want to catch that, just that one. Yeah, so, you know, it's pretty cool. I won't like stress too much because this is an easy stream. I'm working on my nighttime brain whenever I'm streaming from here, so I don't want to stress too much. It is 9 o'clock. The other night I was on like super late, like 11. It was crazy. But trying to catch my friends in the US. So, got to do what I got to do. That is you know, what some of the digital nomad kind of compromises. And thank you so much, Jordan. Glad you liked. And then the last thing I did, let's see, was I added some sparkles. So let's use the one that I just did. Maybe the one from before was nicer, but whatever. So what I did was I made a new layer and I got my little sparkles brush and I believe I applied them in orange. So I've got my orange selected and this is going to be a one color brush, not a multicolor brush. And I'm going to go ahead at my styles and grab one of like my sparkly layer styles. So let me just see. Pave. I'll just put pave one color. Oops. Hello, I don't want to see my guides. And that way it's giving sparkles, it's giving shine, and it takes the color that I draw them in. So it's got a luminosity overlay of that pave texture that I created for that texture that I created for that layer style. And so now we're just going to add some little sparkles. Hey, Linda, super happy you could pop on and join and say hey. We are happy to have you. It makes it more fun for me when I get to see some peeps joining the stream and all that. So yeah, I just put some sparkles. I'm going to open up see how it looked before. Oh no, let's open. It was there. So anyway, every time I'm doing it live and then I'm like, oh, here's the nice one that I did before. So here we can it's got some balance. Maybe it's a little nicer than the one I did here. I also think I blended those blue clouds a little bit better. So I might, add some up there, but whatever. This one, I think I did a better job of layering those clouds. So yeah, I'm like, what I meant to do, what I do live, two totally different things, but it's okay. We're not going to stress too much. And what else? Maybe I'll go back here, throw a couple clouds down just to save my thing. So, did I put clouds all the way? No. Anyway, so there you go. But you could take your time and layer and make it like a lot more. I think this one the one that I did before has a good balance. It's got some empty space, and then how I dropped in the sparkles was kind of nice. So I think it's very ethereal sort of vibe, and I like it. And two brushes and the color blend, so that's fun. So that was number two. And let me open and see what I did. I hope it's easy. Oh, this one was a bit fun. So number three, I thought I would play with some paint pulling and things like this. And I probably couldn't tell you the exact formula that I did to make this, but I'll show you whatever. I'll get close. But I was just having some fun, and you can make some really, okay, that one was not so great. I'm going to delete that. Don't love. But you can make some really fun backgrounds, and it kind of reminds me of like textile and just some really pretty, like this one I love how that one turned out actually. And I did a couple little twists on my paint pulling brushes, and this is something that might, if you like to use those brushes, it might interest you. So whenever I'm doing the paint pulling brushes, which are a different collection, and you can check those out, I'll link them down below. But first thing I do, I don't worry about it being beautiful, but I'm just dropping some color across my board. And it really, because I'm going to be smearing it, it really doesn't matter what brush I use. So in this case, I'm just going to draw over this here. I took my pattern stamp tool and I'm using these ready-made color blends, um, just like uh, just like you see here. And I just grabbed, for me, I like the Modern Impressionist brush number 1 because, let me find my scrap here. If you push down with the full, excuse me, with the full pressure, the color blend is very strong. And then if you have light pressure, it's the brush strokes brush softer. So I'll just use this one, but I'll just use it at max pressure. So what I did was, let me just back these up here. So I just made some streaks across, alternating my color blends. So I did the darker one, I did light, I did the orange mix, and then I did the orange, and I just kept, just alternating them like this. But I want to pop through this today and keep it short, so I'm not going to do it all for you. But, this is using the multicolor method, and most of you guys know it. So we want to like snap through these. So I first of all made those streaks, and so then when you blend them, we'll have all those gorgeous colors. And then I just took the same brush and I dabbed some of my blue blend, just, in this pattern like this, and then took the light one and made the same thing, made some little markings here. And so that's really it, for that. And so that's going to be the base of playing with these painted blends. Now, one thing is, because I'm working on this document size and I have these preview crop here, so what I'm going to do is turn that off just for a second, because we're going to want to merge everything onto one layer. So I'm going to make sure my background is like maybe some color in the middle, like this orange. That's okay. So we'll go okay. So I want to make sure that, because if it's white and I merge everything onto one document, that it'll pull down white into my thing, and maybe that will not look nice depending on my colors. So now, above all this color layers, I'm going to hit, I'm going to merge everything onto one layer. So I'm going to hit Command Option Shift E, or it's Command Alt Shift E if you're on a PC, and that merges everything onto one layer. So then we're good. So we're going to call this our base layer. And then I can put my preview crop here. That's fine. I'll put that back on. And then the first thing that I always want to do is I'm going to option drag this layer to have a backup of it. And we're not going to be doing the paint pulling brushes on all layers. So I'm going to, I don't want to push, this is using the wet paint mixer brush, and I don't want to put sample all layers, so it's only going to be affecting this layer. That's why I want to merge everything. And then we're going to go pop over to the paint pulling brushes, which maybe I have out already. So, or maybe not. Paint pulling. All right. So I'm going to see which one I use. Yeah, so you can just have fun with this, like play, just experiment. Obviously, this is like brush number 1, classic. It's gorgeous. It's creating its very kind of tribal, earthy, textile-y, and you can just go up and down. You could probably go right or left. Although no, I don't think that would be. But you're not, yeah, you're just going to have something totally different. I think that's going to blend the colors a little cooler up and down, just whichever way. Like if I drew my stripes this way, I wanted, pull it the other way. Let me just undo that here. But one little thing also that I wanted to show you guys that might be interesting to you. So that's using the like a classic method. Also, I could, if you just want to like spice it up a little bit, you can go to filter, liquify. Oh wait, no, it's just going to do the last one. So I could go filter, liquify. And now I'm not going to like worry that exactly what it looks like after this. It's just to kind of move those colors around. So I could play with my colors and move them a bit and just have a little bit of fun. And I'm not really going to worry so much what it looks like. I mean, this could be, you know, your final thing, but I think it's more interesting to do something, I don't know, after this. But, and I don't use this filter too much. But okay, so I move those colors around. I'll click OK. And then what I can do is go in like with my same paint pulling brush and pull them. And now it can be like a bit different and it's not so like exactly symmetrical like as the one that I did before. So you have blue, maybe more over here, less over here. So just to compare them, there's without me liquefying it, moving it around. And there is after I moved it around. So as you can see, it looks less like this one looks more classic. It's like symmetrical. It looks all the same. And then this one looks a bit more, I don't know, irregular, but in a cool way, I guess. And there's one that I did with the same thing, except I used a different brush. And I want to like, I wonder if no, I don't think I have these as a preview. But I love how all of them give, you know, totally different effects. Like, let's go back to our base. Yeah, this one, Paint Pulling 2, is quite, it's got, you know, two main sort of streaks, and I think it's fun. I like how that looks. And then another thing that I did with the other one is that and it still drives me nuts. I know, I think it was Gotta Leave that, I think you, Gotta Leave told me about having it not pull your artboard when you go off the side of, you know, if I'm dragging my brush stroke, but I still haven't been able to fix that. And it drives me mental how when I'm pulling, it does that. Like, I don't know if there's actually a fix for that. But before, when I did this one, you know, the more you blend these, the more the color transition is going to get softer. So I think I did two different brushes on this one to create this softness, or I liquefied it and then moved it, and we just got all these irregular, you know, things, and I thought that was really nice. I want to see, there's which brush stroke that was that I think it's something like it's oh, you know what? I think what I did was I did something like after I made, you know, the vertical strokes and stuff, I went like sideways, or, you know, I did like two different things. So this is a similar situation, but there here the colors are getting a bit too muddled for my taste, but you are having those really soft transitions. So I think I did something like this. But you know, you can just do a couple of them. Like here I did you know, paint pulled, and then I paint pulled, I don't know, if maybe sideways and paint pulled again. So that was really fun, but you can just experiment and get some really cool effects. But I think that that is a lot of fun. And actually, let's see here, where is my, no, Pinterest, okay. Let's see here. What was oh yeah. Let's see our shop. Okay, I want to just quick look at these paint pulling brushes while I have a second. Where did it go? I have to like update my site. It's been an age. Oh, here they are. So you can see the different, how they drag and stuff. Oh, let me get my mouse. I really need to I gotta like download these for my charts. So here you can see the different sort of patterns, but you can make your own paint pulling brushes. Just play with different, all it is playing with different tips and different shapes It's using the wet paint mixer brush technique, which I go over in my foundation tutorial. But all it is you don't have any other brush settings going on. All you have is the spacing down to 1%. And then you make sure that there's no color in the brush, and then you drag it. So that is a little bit, that, so you can just do this yourself. You don't have to have like my paint pulling brushes, but it is fun to experiment with and play with. And then let's see here. I think I have one more I'm going to go over really quick. So this one, I've been rather obsessed with my feathery couture brushes lately. And this is another example of me just loving to um, layer brush strokes and see what happens. And just, it's abstract. So this was the last one that I did. I just kind of quick threw these together this afternoon. But I'm just going to quick show you. Let's see here. I think I will make a new document. Let's see here. Let me duplicate these layers onto a new. All right, so we've got our background. Let's make a new layer, and where is number 4? I got too many documents open. Oh, and another thing is that I'll have like all of these, my source files available to download for members pretty much as soon as I'm done. So that's nice. I'm actually like staying on top of my downloads and not like getting behind on downloading my source files and stuff. So that's definitely the new resolution for this year. And I think so. I started with like a background. So this was just, like I said, no, I didn't have a fixed thing, but I took my Feather Couture multicolor brush and then one of the color palettes from this collection. And I just first of all filled in my background with some vertical strokes, and we've got some nice, fun feathery effects with this brush. Just kind of wanted to like lay the base. And as you can see, when you do up, down, up, down, up, down, then it goes like different colors every time. So that's kind of fun. And let's see here. So then I thought it would be fun. Let me see what brush I used. If I put it down, I think, wait, one? No. I think I took the same brush, to be honest. Layer 2, is that 6? Okay. Oh, you know what? I think I just used, honestly, I think I used the same flipping brush. So I'm going to make a new layer. And what I thought it would be fun to do is, I'm just like really leaning into that sort of feathery look. So I grabbed that peach orange color, and I thought I would just like put some little strokes, like kind of make a pattern. It doesn't have to be perfect, whatever. But I thought I would just go through here, draw a little brush stroke, and start with that. So I wasn't really sure how it would turn out. Like most of the time, I never know. And then I have those orange spots there. And then I thought I'd take the same brush, but in like the cream color, and play with that and just kind of do a little motif playing around with underneath the orange and just seeing how it goes. So we're just kind of building it up. So this might give you some ideas for your own stuff. Who knows? I don't know. But I had some fun with it, and that was cool. And then, you know what? I can't see. What did I do? I layered in some, I think this one I pretty much just used 2 brushes as well. So I put some blue and I put some orange on top of them, and that was, yeah, there's the orange. That's those. Okay, so it looks like I put some orange underneath them and blue on top. So underneath, I made a new layer, and I'm kind of zoomed out so you can't see all the gorgeous details, but you can kind of get an idea. So I grabbed brush number 6 because it's one of my faves, but I need to make sure I have the pattern stamp tool. And then I'll get like an orangey, one of the orange color blends. Let's see, I think it's pretty orange. And let's zoom in so we can appreciate some of the detail here. And then, oops, I need to grab brush 6. And this one is got just all this, if you use a light pressure, it's just got all these lovely, lovely texture and detail, but maybe I'll take the orange one that's got a little bit of cream. So it looks nice. The colors coming out are quite nice. And so I kind of was like playing in with some of those negative spaces and layering it up and just kind of filling it in. And we get all that, you know, pretty texture. And then let's zoom out just a little bit. So anyway, did something like that. It looks like I used the darker orange, I think, in my other one, which looked maybe a bit better. And I maybe put the pressure just a little bit softer. And then, but what I can do is I can just take the opacity down a little bit, or that doesn't look so nice. Maybe I'll just stop that. Maybe I'll just redo it, because yeah, I think maybe I use this one. Let's see here. I love how it's always like trying to recreate what I did. I'm just like, I don't know. But you can really get some soft effects if you, and really nice effects if you do a light pressure with these brushes. So anyway, we'll just throw some things in there. We're not going to judge it. And then maybe over the top, I'm going to make a new layer, grab some of that blue and kind of cover up some of the brush strokes. So I just layered it. So this is just a layering of brushes until you're happy, but I think it's fun. It's fun playing with those furry textures. And then just to top it off, you know, and this isn't like, I don't know what this could be for, but you know, you could just use the idea as an artwork, or, you know, who knows what else. But I believe it was the same brush, and just put a little bit of white on the top and then some sparkles, and I thought it was cool. So we're just, you know, like I said, there's not a right or a wrong answer, especially when you're doing, you know, abstract. So I think I just kind of played a little bit and kind of got that nice, like, leaky sort of vibe with that brush, with the flow. I love all the transparency that you can get with those brushes. I usually always have like pressure sensitive settings, but here you can see all that, you know, gorgeous feathery detail that looks quite nice. And then I will just, over the top, I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to grab those stars that I love so much again. I wonder if they're in my recently used brushes. No. Okay. So in this case, where are they? Oh, they're there. Sparkles. I'm going to grab, let's see here, a solid color. Now, when you're going to do like say you're going to apply one of my Creative Couture or Instagram layer styles over the top of something, and you know you're going to do that. So I would definitely recommend painting the color in a solid color. So in this case, I'm going to use a solid blue because, and then I'll apply the layer style, which let me just scroll down here. I will add like a snakeskin layer style from my Instagram. It's fine. With this, such a small area, you don't really see too much. So it doesn't, they're kind of interchangeable when it's on a very small thing like that. But why I recommend doing a solid color as opposed to my multiple colors and then adding the layer style is sometimes on the multicolor blends, there could be like little pieces of black or white or another random color. And so then when it's you're applying the layer style, which has a luminosity blend mode. It's going to take whatever colors underneath it. You can have some muddied sort of color in there and it could just look not as pretty. So I definitely, most of the time personally, I will just paint on a solid color when I know I'm going to be applying a layer style. So I just wanted to add some sparkles on there because it was pretty. Whatever, or it's a vibe. And yeah, so that's how I made something like that. And what's it for? I don't know. But it's soft and fluffy and has pretty textures and it makes me happy. So I am going to just enjoy it and, you know, see what I can do with it. Maybe I'll put it as a quote graphic or something. Who knows? But so that was the ones that I had already done. And so I just thought I would hopefully, you know, this could spur you to like use some of the color palette collections, or if you make some color palettes that are inspired by something, or you take some color palettes from a photo, you know, you can also use them for something abstract, just experimenting, playing with brushes and things like that. So this might spark some idea for you in the future. And one thing though that I wanted to ask you guys, like, so if I already make some, like say for this one, you know, I made some of these ones ahead of time because I want to make sure that I'm, you know, have something nice to show you. But do you want me to go through all of the steps or redraw it completely, or just kind of show you which brushes and how I did it? So basically, I'm curious because I don't want to take too much time and always draw everything from scratch. But sometimes if it's like, I don't know, the one from yesterday or the day before, maybe it's better that I draw the whole thing. So I always welcome feedback on the styles of my tutorials, like what benefits you the most. Is it better for you guys if I kind of go through them fast, or just give you an overview, or if I actually, you know, do it from start to finish, you know? So always, you know, feel free to pop into drop me a note on direct message or on the Facebook group or on my you know, comment on my Facebook post or anything like that. But I will love to hear from you about like what styles of tutorials that you guys like, because I want to make sure that it's fun for you and, you know, and it's kind of like the way that you want to receive it. So that is pretty it for today. So as you can see, all of this was started from an inspiration that I got from a color palette here. And then I created the color palettes yesterday and made that. And then today it was about taking them, you know, taking them abstract and just having some fun with it. Okay, Linda, you like to go through the steps. Okay, okay, good. So, yeah, and of course, if I'm ever missing something or skipping something, you guys can always, you know, always make a note on the comment section or whatever. But it's good to know, you know, like I definitely want to make sure that the tutorials are useful for you guys. So thank you, Linda, for that feedback. And hopefully everybody has a great rest of your day wherever you are. And I will be online tomorrow. It's Friday night, so there is a possibility that I will do something socially. And so I put my live stream tentatively for, I believe it's 6 p.m. my time, so that would be 11 a.m. Eastern time. But anyway, just you can check back tomorrow on the website. So thanks everybody for joining in. And let me, did I get any? Oh yeah. Thanks for joining in, and I will see you guys tomorrow. So thanks a lot.